I'm already kind of losing my mind. Welcome back to my NHL 08 Dynasty Mode with the Carolina Hurricanes. This will be the Year 5 simulation in this video. After last season, Cam Ward going down for the last month of the season killed our playoff push. We didn't make the playoffs at all. Gert Girdington is sort of in the hot seat after compiling on top of that, making a horrible trade. Andre Mazzaros for the first overall pick to select an absolute bum. So all eyes are on the GM this season, and it needs to be a good year. Here's a quick look at the lines. Justin Williams, Eric Staal, Jordan Staal going to be on the first line this season. We could always move him back down to the second line and adjust accordingly. But our second line center, Tuomo Ruutu, along with Andrew Ladd and the big guy, Wade Celios. We all know what Wade is about. Can he have a big year too? David Colleton, Justin Keller, and Chad LaRose on the third line. The fourth line looks like Joseph Vasicek, Sergei Erdashev, and Yuka Peltola. On defense, we got Keith Ballard, Matt Lassoff, James Wisniewski, Tim Gleason, then the two rookies, Flaherty and Zinoviev. And then, of course, we got a 90 overall Cam Ward in net. We need him to stay healthy for all 82 games. And he will play 82 games. And to start off the season, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 home games in a row. So if we have a bad October with all these home games, that's going to be a tough look. And we finally start off a season with a good October. It kind of is tarnished a little bit with the 3 losses here in the last week of the month. But overall, that is still a good October. And we're stacking up the points early and often. We have to do that. We have to stack up the points, stack up the wins early and often. We can't get behind the 8 ball here. So November, we come back down to earth a little bit. Nothing like a little 4-game losing streak to just kick sand all over your sandwich. Thankfully, we picked up 2 wins right after that, but even still, we've got 3 losses here at the end of the month. So definitely came back down to earth in November. I don't think I'm going to make any line changes. I still think we have a good team. We just gotta get back on a win streak. So last season, I kind of complained about the wins and losses only coming in streaks. So this season, the simulation was like, all right, I got you. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. Thankfully, we picked up another little win streak right here at the end of the month. Actually finishing a month hot instead of finishing a month on a losing streak. God, I love to see an overtime loss just sprinkled in there. I love to see that. It's way better than those 6-1 regulation losses. We end December hot just to come into January and create a losing streak. Oh yeah, I love that. Love to see 4 regulation losses in 2 weeks. Is this game fucking serious? It just gave me 6 regulation losses in half a month of January. I don't understand anything about this game. 47 games played. Eric Staal has 63 points. Finally, the 95, 96 overall Eric Staal is playing like one of the best players in the league. Jordan Staal, 55 points. Eric Staal and Jordan Staal are absolutely teaming up on the first line. They finally have chemistry. Wade Celios is a point-per-game player so far. He actually has more assists than he has goals. But Wade Celios becoming an all-around player right here. Justin Williams on the first line only has 40 points. I guess the chemistry between Eric Staal and Jordan Staal just doesn't reach out to Justin Williams as much. But yeah, Wade Celios on that second line. You got Tuomo Ruutu and Andrew Ladd down here with 30 points, and Wade Celios has 48. He's a standout player. Keith Ballard and Matt Lassoff. Matt Lassoff has 7 goals through the season, 27 points. Keith Ballard has 29, so Matt Lassoff playing really well. James Wisniewski up here with 17 points. David Colleton, he's having an alright season. He's got 11 goals, but he's a minus 12. Here's Flaherty and Zinoviev. It looks like Zinoviev got hurt for a while, but they both have 14 points on the third pairing. That's pretty good. And they're only, well, minus 1 and minus 4. That's not bad for a third pairing. So Chad LaRose, Justin Keller, and David Colleton, the third line, they're not scoring, but I don't really need them to score, but they're letting up a lot of goals. And look at the fourth line down here, minus 19. Minus 19 on the fourth line. At least I thought Eric Stahl was having a good season. Ilya Kovalchuk is 2 points per game. He's got 81 points in 43 games. Marian Hossa, 78 points. Joe Thornton, 76 points. These guys are putting up Connor McDavid numbers. Danny Heatley, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Jason Spezza. And Eric Stahl's all the way down here in 13th. So Eric Stahl has made the All-Star team, the second line center for the Eastern All-Stars. And if you guys remember back to episode 1, Ken Popst, the draft pick by the Pittsburgh Penguins that we traded to them to get Eric Stahl, Ken Popst is now an All-Star, an 81 overall offensive defenseman. So looking at him right here, Ken Popst, 33 points in 49 games. He's a plus 13. 23 years old, 98 potential. He's at 81 overall. This guy is an absolute stud. But we have Jordan Stahl, and him and Eric are absolutely tearing it up right now. I don't think I want to make any moves at the trade deadline. I'm fine-ish with how we're simulating. I think we are going to be a playoff team, so I don't really want to mess with anything. So Chicago is placing Dave Bolland on waivers. 81 overall, 83 potential, 25 years old, and he's a center. He could immediately replace Joseph Vasicek, or even he could play the third-line center and have David Colleton play the fourth-line center. We don't really have salary cap, but I am going to claim him, and he'll be in the minors. So David Bolland is in the NHL. I don't think I'm going to throw him in the lineup just yet because we are winning and playing well. But he could be sort of a secret weapon for the playoffs if we needed to take Peltola or Erdashev or Vasicek out of the lineup. So we didn't make any trades at the trade deadline, but we did pick up a big depth center for us. So right now, we're sitting in 5th in the entire league, which is one of the reasons why I don't just want to throw David Bolland right into the lineup right now. We're playing good, and at this rate, we're going to be a playoff team. So I'm just going to keep the squad that we have. We're going to get into the playoffs, then we can decide about Dave Bolland then. I mean, we're on a losing streak, but that's 3 overtime losses in a row. So we still got 3 points, but I don't know why we're losing so much now. That's 4 overtime losses in a row. We just can't seem to win these games versus the teams in our own division. Okay, and we finally get a win to end the losing streak right before heading into the playoffs. Thank God. So here are the player stats at the end of the season. Jordan Stahl beats out Eric Stahl for most points on the team, 89 points. Eric Stahl had 88 points. Jordan Stahl also had 40 goals. Wade Celios had 40 goals. He was 81 points on the season, only 1 point from being a point-per-game player. Justin Williams had 65 points. Tuomo Ruutu was really good on the second line. Andrew Ladd has another good year on the second line. Matt Lassoff and Keith Ballard. Look at Matt Lassoff, 12 goals, 53 points. He's our #1 defenseman right now. And he's allegedly a defensive defenseman. David Colleton, wow, he actually ended up with 42 points at the end of the season, 26 goals. So our two prospects, Wade Celios and David Colleton, just love to bury goals. He was only a -3 at the end of the season. That is a lot better than he was earlier, at least how he was trending. Zinoviev was actually hurt for a lot of this season. His durability is 79, so it's not like he's fragile, but I guess he is fragile. He only played 60 games. And on the third pairing, he still had 25 points. Tim Gleason had 24, and he was on the second pairing. And look at Zinoviev's offensive awareness. It's only 66. His passing is 70. His slap shot ratings are in the 60s. There's nothing indicating that this guy should be able to put up offense, but he does. Tim Gleason, James Wisniewski on the second pair. They had identical seasons. Chad LaRose is hurt right now. We're going to get to that in a minute with 23 points. So Zinoviev had 25 and Flaherty had 23. It's not like they're that big of a difference. And Flaherty actually does have some offensive awareness. He looks pretty well-rounded. Then you have Erdashev, Peltola, and Vasicek, -41 on the fourth line. So I think I'm going to put Dave Boland at somewhere on this fourth line. But I can't do that just yet. I can't do that just yet because Chad LaRose is out with a sore knee. April 27th. I think he's going to miss the first round of these playoffs. So April 27th it's in just over a week, so he's definitely going to miss a majority of the first round of the playoffs, but he might be able to come back for the very end, and when he does, we'll slide Dave Boland down to the fourth line to replace one of those guys that are just getting torched. So here are the team standings at the very end of the year. The Hurricanes finish the year in 8th place in the entire league. Atlanta, the Thrashers, the #1 team in the league, along with Tampa Bay, both teams in our division. That's tough to see, man. So our goals for per game, we're sitting tied for 5th in the league with Detroit. Our goals against per game, we're 12th in the league. Our power play percentage is 3rd in the league, and I bet that is because of Wade Celios. Penalty kill is 11th in the league, but we're over 90%, so that's still good. And look at this. For the second year in a row, we have nearly identical home and away records. That's actually crazy. They're not quite identical, but it's very close. So, I'm a little bit confused. Atlanta is 1st in the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay is 2nd. Buffalo is 3rd. And Pittsburgh was below us. They should be the 6th seed. But let's go to the playoff tree. And in the playoff tree, you have Atlanta as the 1st seed. That's fine. But then Buffalo is the 2nd seed. That should be Tampa Bay. The 3rd seed is Pittsburgh. That should be the Canadians. We should have been the 4th seed, but Tampa Bay is all the way down at the 4th seed. Pittsburgh's the 3rd. What is this script? What is happening in this game? There's so many things in this game that just don't make sense, from the salary cap calculations to now, I guess, the standings of in the playoff tree. Maybe I'm missing something. Please explain to me if I'm missing something here. But this is what the playoffs look like. We were taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the first round of the playoffs. Did they do it strictly based off of the wins? Because even still, that's not how things work. But whatever, the story's coming around full circle for Jordan Staal and Ken Popes. They're going to go head-to-head in round 1 of the 2012 NHL playoffs. And I'm so glad that this simulation went well for me. I don't think mentally I could have handled another season where we had a bad team simulating bad. I was going to lose my mind. I'm already kind of losing my mind. But GM Gert Girdington does lead the Carolina Hurricanes back into the playoffs for the 3rd time in 5 years. So his job's looking a little bit cleaner now, a little bit nicer now. We made it back into the playoffs. If we missed the playoffs this season, it was going to be a really tough decision on if Gert was even going to be able to keep his job. But making the playoffs now, it's looking a little bit safer for him. But what kind of run can we make in the playoffs?